Ocean dumping and ocean pollution is one of the worst ways that humans have destroyed our planet. According to the University of Georgia study, there are 18 billion pounds of trash that end up in our oceans annually. This much trash is enough to cover every foot of coastline worldwide, with 5 full trash bags of plastic every year. We must learn not to treat our oceans like landfills and keep plastics, garbage, and toxic waste out of them. The dumping of hazardous materials is very detrimental to our oceans. We must be conscious of our actions, make smart decisions about using materials. One of the consequences of dumping garbage and plastics into the ocean is the death of many marine animals. A statistic from Condor Ferry says that 100 million marine animals die each year from plastic waste alone. By dumping everyday plastics and garbage into the ocean, we are killing many sea life. One article explains the reason why people continue to dump is a psychological belief that it is an innocent and convenient act. It says that people have an out-of-sight and out-of-mind attitude, and the belief that dumping waste far enough from land would not cause harm. They do not understand the impact that garbage and waste has on the environment. In numbers, the amount of waste in our ocean is tremendous. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is one example of how every little thing that is dumped in the ocean can gather together and destroy an ecosystem. In total, there are 5.25 trillion pieces of plastic waste estimated to be in our oceans, and much of this makes up the 20 million square kilometer North Pacific subtropical gyre. Our oceans are becoming hazardous due to the chemicals and toxins in the material being dumped. When large ecosystems like coral reefs are poisoned, the fish no longer have suitable habitats and die. All of the waste that is thrown into our oceans accumulates and pollutes the water drastically. Ocean dumping of toxic waste is harmful to humans and can cause many diseases and illnesses. One article says coastal water contamination is responsible for 250 million clinical cases of human diseases annually. By simply dumping trash in our oceans, we are infecting hundreds of millions of humans each year. Another large source of ocean dumping is the waste produced by nuclear power plants. When nuclear power plants and other sources of toxic materials run out of space, ocean dumping is one of the worst options they choose. An article by the IISD says that the government of Japan is planning to dump the equivalent of 500 Olympic-sized swimming pools of toxic waste into the ocean as one of their nuclear power plants run out of storage. For decades, ocean dumping has been a problem around the world. There have been many connections between the death of marine animals and ocean dumping. One article by New York Times says that Congress banned ocean dumping in 1988 after a summer in which tons of medical waste washed up on beaches and thousands of dolphins died mysteriously along the Atlantic coast. When the ocean is contaminated, it becomes harmful to marine animals and humans. Animals and plants can get diseases and die, or carry deadly toxins that can be transferred to humans. When toxic waste like radioactive and nuclear material are dumped in the ocean, it is poisonous to many ecosystems and living things that abide in the waters. There are multiple steps we can all take to minimize ocean waste and pollution. By being conscious of our actions and how we use materials, we can start to save our oceans. One example of making smart decisions is how New York City has decided to deal with its sludge. Until 1992, New York City was dumping 4.5 million tons of sewage into the Atlantic each year. When they looked at other options, they found that they could treat the sewage and turn it into a good sludge. An article by New York Times says sewage contains nutrients that harm the ocean, but when properly treated can be beneficial to soil. They then go on to say the good sludge, which is filled with nitrogen phosphorus, is essential for plant growth, and when metals and other poisons are eliminated, it can be better than most manure. You may not be able to control what is done with your city's sewage, but you can control what you throw away and how you recycle. Many everyday items include water bottles, plastic bags, straws, cups, can all be easily recycled. A statistic from Oceanic Society says at present, just 9% of plastic is recycled worldwide. By refusing these products, you can help reduce the number of plastics that end up in our oceans. You can also support organizations like the Bahama Plastic Warriors that send out crews to clean up beaches and rid their coasts of waste. They are a current example of how easy it is to take action against ocean waste. In this trailer for their documenting organization, they quickly explain what they do.
Core component of our organization is our plastic pollution education and ocean conservation summer camp, also known as the plastic camp. And during this time, we have students that come from around the Bahamas to learn all about the issue. And for me, working with youth is so important because they're the next generation, right? You start there. They're the ones that are molding their own futures. They're the ones that deserve a seat at the table and making decisions that impact their future.
A final example of how you can help our world address the problem of ocean dumping is to support legislation that acknowledges the problems and consequences. The most recent convention for ocean dumping is the London Protocol. It's followed by 53 countries that all abide by its laws. The United States also follows NPRSA. The EPA explains it as the Ocean Dumping Act, which prohibits dumping into the ocean material that would unreasonably degrade or endanger human health or the marine environment. These are just a few of the many solutions that help work towards cleaner and more sustainable oceans. By turning some of the worst waste into a good resource to help crops, we can avoid the need to dump it into the ocean. The average human has no say in what happens to their sewage, so they can take these other steps to help lessen their impact on the oceans. We must understand the consequences that when we pollute our ocean with harmful toxic waste, we poison habitats, kill fish, and infect humans. Many organizations acknowledge these dangers and are taking action against dumping. There are solutions to dealing with the growing amount of sewage produced by cities, solutions for disposing toxic waste, and easier ways that the general public can help. We must not dump our trash and waste in the ocean and help convince others to do the same.